Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Hello. We are back. Welcome back to J is for Justice. We have sound now, guys. All right. Good thing that I can figure my way around this better than I could about 4 years ago. Good morning, loungers. Sorry for the little snafu. We had an audio issue, so we have restarted. Welcome to the live, and I want to let you guys know it is Friday, June 30th. Happy Friday. Good morning, Angie B. and Shell and Incognito Potato and Mike Sanner are all your moderators today. If you need anything, feel free to at their names. If you need anything, if you'd like a link, join the Facebook group, join the Patreon, whatever it is, they can definitely help you out. Today we're going to be going over part one. I think this is going to be part one of two of the Richard Allen documents in the Delphi case that were released this week. There's roughly about 300 documents, and we're going to get through as many as we can. We're going to roll for about an hour, and then we will pick up part two in the next live. So we'll see what we can get through in the hour here. Yeah, I just needed a quick restart, I guess, Mike. Cheryl T. Hello. Listen, Linda, Diana, Mary P. She's Mary P part one. We've got another Mary P part two. And Jenny W., I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, let's get rolling. We've got an hour to stream. Let's head over to the boob tube and see what's going on here in the Richard Allen case. All righty. I hope everybody makes their way back to the stream. We're going to go ahead and get these pulled up here. And if you are a member of our Patreon, you will see that we did put all of these in one PDF. We downloaded them, put them all in a PDF. You can search, you can put keywords in the top. It's all in Patreon in PDF form. That and also the Morphew docs that were released recently. So you can go in those and kind of thumb through them, check it out, see if anything stands out to you. Let us know in the Patreon group. So this is page one. This is Exhibit B of these documents that were released. Yeah, I think everybody needs a restart every now and then, Mike. All right, so this is Exhibit B. This is Richard Allen before his arrest. Poor dog. But yeah, this is him. And then we have the second page, Exhibit C, or A, is this nastiness. Holy. Okay, so at first I was like, man, I feel bad for this dude. Like, they must be treating him like shiz.
Just based on my observations, her hair was very greasy.
But yeah, I think that he's been playing some games. So we're going to find out in the docs, just to let you guys know, he was wetting paper from his lawyers, that his lawyers were leaving him with documents. And this dude was wetting the paper and eating it. He was eating it so that he could stay full and go on this hunger strike.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
This is Richard Allen. Yep, this is Richard Allen. Now, Richard Allen was at the Monon High Bridge that day that Abby and Libby went missing. He admitted that he was there. They spoke to him early on. But yeah, he's doing some weird stuff, okay? And he also broke his own tablet, that he had for communication. Yeah, it's a mess, guys. It's a mess. And I mean, this picture right here is just absolutely disgusting, right? Like, yeah, gross is right. I've got my sidekick here. What's up, man? What's up? Oh, you're okay. Go color, okay? All right, so let's get into the documents and see what we've got. Let's get off that nastiness. Okay, so we have the subpoena, and it says, the state of Indiana to the sheriff, greetings. You are hereby commanded to summon the Indiana Department of Corrections, CO Westville Correctional Facility, to permit attorney Bradley Rozzi, Andrew Baldwin, and their agents to enter onto the Westville Correctional Facility for the purpose of inspecting, measuring, surveying, and photographing the individual cell blocks and surrounding facility wherein defendant Richard Allen has been continuously incarcerated since November of 2022. Said event shall occur within 30 days. And this was issued on 5/19 of 2023. So May 19th, this happened. And his lawyers were, making it sound like he was being mistreated and all this other stuff. I'm just not sure that was the case. And then we have here, because he was put in, so he was put into a maximum security prison for his own safety, they said. All right, hang on. Got to get situated. So they said that he was put in a maximum security prison for his own safety, but then his attorneys are like, hey, he's being mistreated or something. So this is request for production to non-party. And this is attorney Bradley Rozzi, that's Richard Allen's lawyer, Indiana Department of Corrections, Westville Correctional Facility, and they want to come in there and inspect. And it says that they are available between Monday and Friday from 8 to 5, and they want to come in and see what's going on there. Then they are summoning people from that facility. So let's see. This is going to be all over the place, I think, because they released a bunch of stuff. It's just random what they released. But this is a lab report. This was actually filed on, it looks like June 13th of this year. And this is from the Indiana State Police lab. And this is where they did an analysis on the gun and the cartridge of the gun. And it says here that the cartridge in item 16 was identified as having been cycled in the firearm in item 314. So they found a bullet, if you haven't followed this case closely, in between the two victims was an unspent bullet. And they matched it to his gun. They said that it cycled through his gun, but it was unspent. So then he's like, they interview him and he's like, I never let anybody borrow my gun. So he's making it sound like I have no idea how that bullet would have gotten, between the two victims because I didn't do it. And I've never let anybody use my gun. So they used microscopic comparison. And this is Exhibit A. And then this lists all the things. They had a sealed cardboard box containing 1 Sig Sauer with the serial number. They had a manila envelope containing test-fired and cycled ammo from that firearm. Then they had another envelope containing more ammunition, ×2, and then 2 sealed plastic bags with 1 cartridge, and then another sealed plastic bag containing 1 magazine containing 8 cartridges and another magazine containing 9. The firearm was examined for functional defects and test fired, and no functional defects were found. Examination revealed it to be a .40 S&W caliber cartridge, manufactured or marketed by Winchester. And then the next one was a blazer. Then the next one was a staggered box magazine manufactured by Sig Sauer, having a capacity of 10 cartridges. Examination of the 17 cartridges revealed to be a 40 S&W caliber cartridge manufactured by Blazer. And then the cartridge from item 16 from the Indiana State Police Lab was identified as been cycled in the firearm item 314. A test-fired cartridge case from 314 TI was entered into the database. Images were sent to the BATF National Correlation and Training Center for review. The test fires will be returned to the contributor. It is recommended that the test fires are retained for at least 5 years. And then it just goes into their certificate of analysis. And then we have filed on May 19th, 2023. More about the notice of discovery about the Westville Correctional. We've got Eagle 8 going overhead. You can hear Eagle 8. Stand down. We need more fuel. So here's an order. Comes now, the court, and having communicated with the parties on Defendant Allen's motion for order on continuing disclosure of defendant's mental health records, now grants said motion and orders the Indiana Department of Corrections or any other law enforcement agency or anyone over the care and custody of Richard M. Allen, date of birth 9/9/72, to release to attorney Bradley Rozzi and or Andrew Baldwin upon the written request any and all mental health records associated with Richard M. Allen. And then we have a supplemental order on safekeeping. We're just going to go through these one by one. I don't think they go in any consecutive order. Mark Klein, Eagle 8, came over to say hi to you. Supplemental order on safekeeping. Like, there's no rhyme or reason to these docs. They're just unsealed. So, comes now the Honorable Francis C. Gull, the special judge in the above captioned cause, and orders the Indiana Department of Corrections to transport Defendant Allen to the Cass County Jail. And this was on what date? No date on this one. And release Defendant Allen to the care and custody of the Cass County Sheriff, Edward Schroeder. Defendant Allen shall remain in the care and custody of the Cass County Sheriff at the Cass County Jail, pending resolution of this cause. And then this is like blank. It says the court further orders the blank to facilitate the transfer. It's not even signed. Is this legit if it's not even signed? Good morning, Leslie Watkins. Much love to you, my dear. Why is this not even signed by a judge? Temporary restraining order. Comes now, the court, and having reviewed Defendant Allen's verified motion for temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction, finds that immediate and irreparable injury, loss, or damage will result in the absence of an order pending a hearing in this cause. As such, the court grants said order and herein directs the Indiana Department of Corrections and through its staff from videotaping any further attorney-client conferences between Defendant Allen and his legal team. The court further orders that Defendant Allen's legal team shall be afforded the opportunity to utilize their laptop computers and cell phones in the course of conducting conferences with Defendant Allen at Westville Correctional Facility. Further, this matter shall be scheduled for a hearing. Not signed. I don't know what this is. And then we have another thing about his mental health. Okay, here we go. Here's some meat and potatoes here. April 5th, 2023, this was filed in Carroll County Circuit Court. Emergency motion to modify safekeeping order. Comes now the defendant, Richard M. Allen, and through his attorney, Bradley, Rozzi, Rosemary, and respectfully requests that this court modify the court order entered on November 3rd, 2022 in this cause?
Miss Staunch? Stouch. Stouch. Miss Stouch?
Okay, so let's go through these. 1. On or about October 28th, 2022, Mr. Allen was charged with 2 counts of murder. Mr. Allen's bond was set in the amount of $20 million. Why even set a bond? Number 2, on November 3rd, 2022, prior to counsel being assigned to Mr. Allen, the Carroll County Sheriff, via formal motion, filed his request by the Sheriff of Carroll County to transfer inmate from the custody of the sheriff to the custody of the Indiana Department of Corrections for safekeeping. On the same day, November 3rd, 2022, the Honorable Benjamin Diener, judge of the Carroll Circuit Court, executed a court order granting the sheriff's request and further ordered the Carroll County Sheriff to transfer Mr. Allen to a facility within the Indiana Department of Corrections as designated by the Commissioner of the Department of Corrections, suitable for Mr. Allen's safekeeping. All decisions regarding Mr. Allen's detention circumstances were made prior to counsel being assigned to Mr. Allen to speak on his behalf. No formal hearing regarding the sheriff's safekeeping have been conducted as of the date of filing this motion. 4. Mr. Allen is currently incarcerated in the Westville Correctional Facility, where he has been since November 2022. The Westville Correctional Facility is a maximum security prison operated by the Indiana Department of Corrections, wherein thousands of individuals convicted of the most serious crimes such as murder, rape, robbery, and child molesting are confined. Dudes, I have a call from Moscow, Idaho. No joke. Hold on. Pause this Okay, I'm back. That was Detective Payne. Following up on my tip. He followed up on my tip, and he took it very seriously. So I'm really sorry that I had to stop. But, wow. Okay. All right. Whew. I kind of need to catch my breath from that, okay? Whew. All right. So he was following up on the tip, and he was very interested in the information in that archive. So very good, very good. I found some things RPP online that I wanted to pass along. So I'm so glad he followed up. And, you know, I just want to say he was very, very nice. Very nice. So, all right. Well, I'm happy that that happened while we were live, because I know I said before, like, hey, they hadn't called me back and da-da-da. So I'm glad he followed up. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. You know, you answer the phone. It's like, hello, can I speak with Jennifer? This is Detective Payne from the Moscow Police Department. All right. So let's get back to... I know you guys all saw my baby. My baby granddaughter is here for a visit. So my streams are going to be interesting in the next week. Would you like to say hello? Okay. She wants to say hi. So before we continue with Richard Allen, let's get little Fia over here to say hello. You can say hi.
Hi.
Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Talk to everyone. Say thanks for watching. Say thanks for watching. Oh, now you're going to be shy? Okay. Here. Go ahead. She's definitely not shy usually, but. All right. Let's get back into the groove. Never a dull moment around here, right? Never a dull moment. We go live, we get a call from Brett Payne, right? Hallelujah. All right, so after we complete this live, her and I are going to the pool for the day because it's about 105 degrees here. Hello, Pickle Pickle. All right, let's get out of the co-burglar. No more co-burglar. Now we're back on to Alan, okay? We're back in Indiana. Let's get out of Moscow for donuts. We're back in Indiana at the Westville Correctional Facility. This is a maximum security prison. And I have no idea why they would need to place him in the maximum security prison while he's being held. Listen, you're going to have to settle down. I don't know why they would put him in there. Mike Sanders says, tell us the truth. She fixed the sound. Yeah, she did. So why would they put him in a maximum security prison? Like, Brian Koberger's not in a maximum security prison waiting for his trial. It's just weird. Mandy Joe, what's wrong? Is one of your kids sick? Sounds like someone's got water on the ear. All right, so we are, I know, the trials and tribulations of summertime. Swimmer's ear. That sucks, though. That gets painful. You definitely don't want that to turn into an infection. All right, so here we go. This is the lawyers. This is Richard Allen, his lawyers writing this motion, okay? To the best of counsel's knowledge, Westville Correctional Facility does not routinely house offenders awaiting trial who are presumed innocent, as the presumption should be with Mr. Allen. If that was me and I was accused of a crime and they put my ass in a maximum security prison with people that had been convicted, I would totally bitch about this. Drunk Turkey, what's up? He says, looks like MPD still investigating. Yeah. I was getting a little worried, Drunk Turkey, because I called about a week ago now, I think. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Drunk Turkey, we should collab one night. We should do a J for J Drunk Turkey live stream. No one would ever expect it, Drunk Turkey. They'd be like, what is this? All right, let's keep going. It is further noteworthy that Mr. Allen has been continuously assigned to a separate maximum security segregation unit within the Westville Correctional Facility, wherein the most dangerous offenders are held. Like, he's totally, like, in somewhere where, like, convicted rapists, killers are already. I'd be like, no. I'd be like, no. Hell to the no. Yay, he says he's down. Mandy Joe, Drunk Turkeys for Justice. Yeah, hit me up. Mods, if you could put the link in chat, please. Yeah, I know he is very calm. See, that's what I like about the Drunk Turkey. He's calm. He's chill. He doesn't get all worked up. He doesn't scream. I think we'd have a pretty chill stream. If you're down for a Jay and Drunk Turkey show, put a 1 in chat. All right, let's keep going, guys. Remember, I got a little squirt here. I got to get through this. We've got 300 pages, so we might have to do 3 parts to this. And we're going to skim. We're not going to read every word because not all of it means anything. Yes, logical. Logical, doesn't get worked up, doesn't run with everything he hears. I like that. One all day, says Daisy Dead. Damn, all day long. Drunk Turkey Show says 1. It looks like they win, Drunk Turkey. We got to do it. Hello, Lynn. Good to see ya. All right, so anyways, they're complaining, and this is what they say are the grievances. Mr. Allen has been entombed. They make it sound so bad. Entombed. Death row for pedos. I love your name. If I could scream from the rooftops, every pedo should get the death penalty. I'm sorry, you hurt a child. You should not have any life to breathe in you. No more. So he's been entombed in a cell as small as 6 foot by 10 foot. But, you know, he hasn't been convicted. That's the thing. Innocent until proven guilty. Everybody's screaming from the rooftops. Brian Kober, innocent until proven guilty. Well, how about Richard Allen? Innocent until proven guilty. Or does that not matter? I don't think he should be treated like this. A space no larger than that of a dog kennel. Mr. Allen is sleeping on a pad on a concrete floor. Mr. Allen is afforded showers only 1 to 2 times per week. Mr. Allen is required to wear the same clothes, including underwear, for days and days on end, all of which are soiled, stained, tattered, and torn. Mr. Allen, who is a constitutionally innocent man and maintains his factual innocence as well, has not been afforded any opportunity to visit his wife or other family members during the last 5 months of incarceration, during which time he has been subjected to conditions akin to those of a prisoner of war. Mr. Allen is allowed only an electronic tablet through which he can make calls to family members, all of which is monitored by prison officials, with the cost of all phone calls being borne by Rick and his family. Mr. Allen is routinely supervised by other inmates, quote, companions, as referred to within the confines of the prison, who sit on watch outside of his cell door on a daily basis. He's supervised by other inmates? I had no idea they did this. So they put inmates out, like ones that have moved up in the ranks, they put them outside of the other inmates' doors to guard. Is that how prisons save money these days? That seems kind of risky in a maximum security prison. Why are they doing that, guys? Why are they trusting inmates that are in a maximum security prison to guard other inmates? Baby, what are you doing? I got someone headbanging over here. It's crazy. Mr. Allen is afforded very little, if any, recreation time outside of his cold concrete and metal quarters. Attorneys for Mr. Allen delivered nearly 1,000 pages of police reports to Mr. Allen on Friday, March 24th, 2023, with the intention of seeking their client's cooperation in his own defense. As of Monday, April 3rd, said information has yet to be provided to Mr. Allen. The location of Mr. Allen's detention is such that he is isolated geographically, not only from his family, but from his attorneys. How can you isolate someone from their attorneys when they're not even convicted? Who are required to travel for hours to speak with him in confidence regarding his case. Said visits also require making logistical arrangements with prison officials in advance of visits. This just seems weird to me. So let's unpack this for a second. You want to sit on my lap? So he was moved further away from his lawyers. How is that fair? How is that fair? And I want to welcome Casey and Christy, our newest Patreon members. Let's give them some love, guys.
La 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 la. You don't hold
Newest Patreons right here, guys.
La 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 la. You don't hold account.
But this just doesn't make much sense to me. They take him further away from his lawyers, and then they isolate him, and he's not even convicted. It is difficult, if not impossible, for Mr. Allen's attorneys to share confidential and sensitive information due to the logistical challenges associated with Mr. Allen's segregation and isolation. They're saying he's being deprived of his constitutional right to assist in his defense. In contrast, the state of Indiana sit in the comfort of their own command center, planning and preparing to prosecute Mr. Allen to the fullest extent of the law. In some, Mr. Allen is being treated far less favorably than a convicted person, many of which are housed in less secure areas of the prison, are offered programming, therapy, and mental health services, routine recreation, and contact visits with family and friends. He should be able to visit his family and talk to his family and have access to go outside at least. To further complicate matters, Mr. Allen has suffered from depression dating back to his early years. Upon his incarceration, Mr. Allen was presumably evaluated and medicated by prison medical staff. Up until a visit with Mr. Allen on April 4th, 2023, counsel for Mr. Allen found him to be polite, communicative, with great eye contact, generally responsive to our questions, and exhibiting a good sense of humor, despite his false arrest and circumstances. However, Mr. Allen's deteriorating physical condition has been observed by counsel dating back to the new year. As recently as Friday, April 24th, 2023, Attorney Baldwin met with Mr. Allen with optimistic news about the direction of the case. And Mr. Allen was inquisitive about the information, was thankful about the information, and optimistic about the information. Only 10 days later, on April 3rd, 2023, attorneys for Mr. Allen observed a steep decline in Mr. Allen's demeanor, ability to communicate, ability to comprehend, and ability to assist in his defense. Hello, Robin. Simply put, this version of Richard Allen was a very different version than counsel for Mr. Allen had interacted with over the past 5 months. Mr. Allen appeared to be suffering from various psychotic symptoms, which counsel would describe as schizophrenic and delusional. Counsel further believes that in our April 4th, 2023 interaction, Mr. Allen seems to be suffering from memory loss and demonstrating an overall inability to communicate rationally with counsel and family members. Counsel experienced these symptoms firsthand upon visiting Mr. Allen on Monday, April 4th, 2023. 13. Mr. Allen's physical condition is deteriorating rapidly. Attached Exhibit A is a photo of Mr. Allen, which we saw in the very beginning of the stream, and that was taken at the correctional facility on April 4th. So that first picture, that picture of him where he's all dirty and nasty, that was taken on April 4th, 2023. And they say the photo reflects the significant toll of his current incarceration on his physical person and his mental capacity. And then they said, excuse me, by contrast, see Exhibit B, which reflects his condition a year or two prior to his incarceration. So yeah, he was eating fine. I mean, if he's guilty and he was eating fine and was fine after what he did, sick.
Exhibit E, EXHIBITY.
I'm just curious why some inmates get mental health treatment and some don't. Like, I don't know why some inmates will get, antidepressants and some don't even get a mental health evaluation. For example, Chris Watts. No mental health evaluation at all. None. All right, so here, let's keep going. The test for determining da-da-da-da-da. So they're saying he's basically on death row. Approximately 2 months prior to the filing of this petition, Attorney Rozzi was able to secure a more traditional bed space in the Cass County Jail. A newly erected, yes, I said erected, modern jail facility with the most advanced security measures, located directly across the street from Attorney Rozzi's office. My question is, what's wrong with the Carroll County Jail? What's wrong with the Carroll County Jail? Why can't he be in the Carroll County Jail? Are they inept? Jail. I know. She says thumbs down to jail. Tell him thumbs down. No to jail. We don't want.
Yeah.
She says no. Jail? No. It's just weird to me. Why can't he be housed in the county jail where he was arrested like everybody else is? Why is this different? All right, so he was moved to this Cass County Jail, which is only 20 miles from the Carroll County Courthouse. And it says that said modification would result in a more humane living environment in which Mr. Allen would be afforded immediate access to his attorneys and, more importantly, would allow Mr. Allen to have regular contact visits with his family. This detention circumstance would afford Mr. Allen due process of law. Under these circumstances, Mr. Allen would be treated like other inmates awaiting trial in the criminal justice system, as opposed to being punished based only on the merits of untested charging information and PCA, probable cause affidavit. In the process of facilitating Mr. Allen's removal from Westville Correctional Facility, Attorney Rozzi communicated with Prosecutor Nicholas McClellan, who articulated that he had no objection to a modification of Mr. Allen's detention circumstances to a facility closer to Carroll County. Attorney Rozzi was recently informed that the Carroll County Sheriff's Department declined Attorney Rozzi's request to have Mr. Allen removed from the harsh conditions and detained to a more traditional county jail. Mr. Allen asserts that said denial is a deliberate attempt to impose conditions upon him that are intended to frustrate his purpose in defending against the charged allegations. From a practical standpoint, it is also worth noting that the raw volume of discovery is overwhelming. For example, there exists nearly 3,000 pages of law enforcement reports that need to be examined. In addition, there's thousands of hours of surveillance video and videos of interviews of potential suspects, witnesses, and other interested parties. The discovery suggests that law enforcement authorities have processed over 31,000 tips during the course of the investigation. Wow, 31,000. All of which must be reviewed by the defense. Reasonable access to Mr. Allen is necessary as he is needed to assist with the process of reviewing discovery. I mean, all of this seems fair. They're definitely not saying he's done anything like to make himself, a target other than the charges. But why can't Carroll County manage to guard him? I don't understand. Weird. Just weird. It's just really weird.
You're awesome.
So you guys think that they isolated him so that he could think about his crime? Oh boy. Look at this. We've got a makeup tutorial going on right here. Right here, right now. We got a makeup tutorial. What you putting on, lipstick? That's beautiful. Can you go? Oh, Lordy. 4 going on 14. If he's isolated in a county jail, how can anybody kill him? How can anybody kill him? And if they're understaffed, they've got inmates guarding him. I need to put a poll up. I need to know if you guys think that they got the right guy. Let's get that poll going. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think they got the right guy? All right, so co-counsel for Mr. Allen are having to drive hours to talk to him. We've already gone over that. Verified motion for temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. Comes now, again, Bradley Rozzi. And he says that he's under safekeeping. This is all just reiterating what we just read. Okay, so here's some new information here. During the visits in the Westville Correctional Facility, Attorney Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin were allowed to possess their cell phones and computers to assist with their attorney-client dealings. Said visits typically occurred in the office of the captain of the Westville Correctional Facility or other office spaces. Other than the presence of an officer placed immediately outside of the door until a visit on or about Friday, April 21st, 2023, some semblance of privacy was offered to the attorneys and defendant Allen. On or about April 5th, attorneys for Richard Allen filed an emergency motion to modify safekeeping. On or about Friday, April 21st, 2023, Attorney Baldwin and his staff visited defendant Allen. At all times during the visit, Attorney Baldwin, his staff member, and defendant Allen were under the constant surveillance of correctional staff who also videotaped the attorney-client conference through a window just outside of the meeting room under conditions similar to that which are referenced in paragraph 9 below. Additionally, unlike the previous visits that occurred before filing the April 5th motion, Attorney Baldwin was prohibited from bringing his cell phone into the visit. Does this seem fair to you? Does this seem fair to you, though? Why can't his lawyer bring his cell phone? And why on God's green earth are they videotaping his visits with his lawyer? Does anyone understand this? Because I thought that they weren't allowed to videotape you. What if the jail, what if the prosecutor got a hold of the jail video? This dude has the right to talk to his lawyers privately. Everybody has the right to talk to their lawyers privately when they're convicted of or accused of a crime. It's called attorney-client privilege. Why are they videoing it? On May 4th, 2023, and all this is not that long ago. This all just happened in the last couple of months. Attorney Rozzi and his staff member visited defendant Allen at the Westville Correctional Facility. Attorney Rozzi and his staff member were placed inside an administrative office, which was 12 by 8 in size. The room contained 4 separate padded chairs and a desk, one on one end of the room, and there were windows facing the outside, and on the other end of the room, there was a window facing the interior hallway of the maximum security unit. Attorney Rozzi offered up defendant Allen one of the padded seats in the room. The correctional staff required that defendant Allen sit in a plastic chair in the center of the room facing the interior window. Defendant Allen was approximately 8 feet from the window. The chair was situated such that defendant Allen was facing directly at the interior window and directly into the video camera. A correctional officer was then stationed on the opposite side of the window in the hallway with a video camera that pointed directly at defendant Allen and in the direction of Attorney Rozzi. Attorney Rozzi is of the belief that the entire visit, which lasted approximately 1 hour, was videotaped by prison staff. Never before has Attorney Rozzi experienced such an infringement on an accused's right to confidential communications with counsel. It is also noteworthy that Attorney Rozzi was prohibited from possessing his cell phone and laptop. As a result of this, Attorney Rozzi had no ability to discuss with defendant Allen any part of the voluminous discovery that has been offered up to the defense in this case. Accordingly, Attorney Rozzi respectfully requests that this court issue a temporary restraining order prohibiting the Indiana Department of Corrections from videotaping the attorney-client visits, as well as authorizing Attorney Rozzi and Attorney Baldwin to have access to their laptop computers and cell phones. And then they give their reasons that they need this. And that seems like it should just be automatic, doesn't it? Here's the next order. This is filed June 7th of this month. Wow, June 7th. This is a motion for order on continuing disclosure of defendant's mental health records. So they want those sealed. But how is it too dangerous to keep him in county jail, but it's not Koberger? I mean, they had rifles outside of his initial hearing. Defendant Allen is currently housed we already read all this. Okay. Prior to defendant Allen's incarceration, defendant Allen did execute a power of attorney in favor of his wife, Kathy. However, no healthcare representative directives were executed by defendant Allen. So when he was arrested, he gave his wife power of attorney, but not medical power of attorney. Defendant Allen's attorneys are in need of reviewing his mental health records, most of which are in possession of the Indiana Department of Corrections to aid in preparation of his defense, management of his mental and physical state, and to restore his mental and physical health so that he may assist in his own defense. Attorney Rozzi has attempted to obtain defendant Allen's information through the DOC, but is required to execute a HIPAA waiver. Said waiver will require Defendant Allen's signature. Defendant Allen is currently in a deteriorating state, both mentally and physically, and therefore Attorney Rozzi has concerns regarding Defendant Allen's ability to execute a knowing and voluntary waiver. Defendant Allen is also incarcerated approximately 1.5 hours away from Attorney Rozzi, and therefore obtaining signatures on a routine basis is burdensome. I agree with that. I mean, to have to drive 3 hours just to go get a signature, how is that even cost effective for the county? Makes no sense. It makes no freaking sense. There is no legal and or practical reason why attorneys for Defendant Allen should not be entitled to his mental health records, and Defendant Allen respectfully requests that this court issue an order directing the Indiana Department of Corrections or anybody in charge of his care and custody, give them the mental health records. Motion in Lamine regarding ballistics. So this is about the gun. Seems like a lot of these are his attorney's filings. The defendant, Richard Allen, by counsel Bradley Rozzi, respectfully move this court as follows. Defendant Allen is charged with 2 separate counts of felony murder. There is no trial date. Counsel for Defendant Allen, upon information and belief, has reasonable cause to believe that the prosecution intends to introduce as evidence the following. A, testimony from laboratory analyst Melissa Oberg and her agent supporting the findings referenced in ISP Lab Certificate of Analysis, which is Exhibit A. Testimony from laboratory analyst Melissa Oberg and her agent, bench notes and other literature in support of Exhibit A and B. This evidence is inadmissible for the following reasons, says his lawyer. A, the items analyzed and the conclusions drawn by the Indiana State Police Laboratory Division are irrelevant and therefore inadmissible. B, the probative value of said evidence is substantially outweighed by the danger of unfair prejudice. And C, testimony regarding the analysis and conclusions of Exhibit A and B runs afoul of Rule 702 in that the examiner is not qualified to draw the reference conclusions. Such evidence is not necessary for a full and fair determination of the facts of the instant case. I have no idea what any of this means. That is lawyer mumbo jumbo. And if you guys watch Lawyer You Know and your members, see if you can get him to read through this and break this stuff down. I would love to see him and get his opinion on this case, because he's very logical and he breaks things down in layman's terms. And I just wonder what he would say about all of this. Like, I know they have evidence on him. I know that they, have whatever, to hold him. But is this right? Is this just? And why are they holding him in a maximum security prison like this? Regardless of him eating paper, regardless of him breaking tablets, regardless of all of that. Why are his lawyers 3 hours away? And I just don't understand. I don't think that's right. I mean, if you're accused of 2 felonies, you should definitely have your attorneys at your disposal. And if he was eating paper at the same time that he confessed, I don't think this confess is going to hold anything. Huh? Yeah, he was eating paper. I know. Isn't that gross?
Yeah.
Who eats paper?
I don't know.
I mean,
Who did that?
would you ever eat paper?
I
No.
didn't.
No, I would never eat paper.
That was gross.
Yeah, that's thumbs down, right? Thumbs down on that. Motion to quash. Can you say quash?
Quack.
Yep. Quash the subpoena. Comes now the defendant, Richard Allen, with Bradley Rozzi. Rozzi. On or about April 20th, 2023, defendant Allen was served with a motion for leave of court to subpoena third-party records. Attached to the motion was a subpoena duces tecum directed to Westville Correctional. And then this is where they're asking for all mental health records, including all records from any physician that has evaluated him from November 3rd until present, any mental health evals or exams, any other documents, notes, recordings, etc. They want everything. Prosecutor McClellan is requesting records which are irrelevant as there are no pending matters pertaining to defendant Allen's competency to stand trial, nor has defendant Allen raised the defense of insanity. Motion to quash. Can you say quash? Say it loud. Quash. Comes now the defendant, Richard Allen, with Bradley Rozzi. Say it. Rozzi. Attached to the motion was a subpoena duces tecum. And they want any medical documents from any physician, medical evaluations, and notes, videos, etc., which his attorneys should get anyway. And then in this one, they want any and all video recordings of Richard Allen in his cell or being moved from his cell, any notes from guards, inmates, or other personnel at that prison, recordings of any interviews done with Richard Allen at that facility, copies of any recorded phone calls outside of phone calls made to his attorneys, any written requests made by Richard Allen, and any other documents, records, notes, videos, or writings that the facility has. The subpoena is unreasonable and oppressive for the following reasons. The requested document may contain medical and or psychiatric information. Can you go get some tissue for your nose? Here. Psychiatric information associated with defendant Allen are protected under 45 CFR. Any information derived from interviews done with defendant Allen by the Westville Correctional Facility. Defendant Allen respectfully requests that this court issue an order quashing the subpoena and for other just proper relief in the premises. I know. She is a great little helper, and she will get her just rewards when we go to the pool. And then we have another one for the work records. For Richard Allen, copies of all work records, including attendance, personal files. And it says the subpoena is unreasonable and oppressive. The records are irrelevant, and the files may contain information protected under 45 CFR. Defendant Allen respectfully requests that this court issue an order quashing the subpoena and for all other just and proper relief. State's motion requesting protective order governing discovery. All right, so now comes the state of Indiana. Finally. What's up, Flo? Happy Friday. This is the state of Indiana making this motion. Number one, that one copy of the discovery material shall be provided to the counsel for the defendant. And this is dated 2/13 of 2023. That the discovery material may not be used for any other purpose than to prepare for the defense in this cause number, that the discovery material shall not be publicly exhibited, displayed, shown, or used, that the discovery material may be viewed only by the parties' counsel and counsel's investigators, that if copies of the discovery are made and provided to the defendant, investigators, or experts, that sensitive and private information shall be redacted. The discovery material shall not be distributed to any person unauthorized to view it, blah, blah, blah. And now we have Bradley Rozzi again. Comes now the defendant, Richard Allen, by counsel Bradley Rozzi, respectfully requests that this court reconsider the order on judgment of the court entered April 14th and schedule a due process hearing. due to the following reasons. One, defendant Allen is currently incarcerated in the Indiana Department of Corrections, wherein the Honorable Benjamin Diener ordered the transfer of defendant Allen. At no time prior to the issuance of the November 3rd safekeeping order was there any hearing to support the issuance of said order. So it's kind of like if you go back into Moscow when what was her name? Meghan Marshall. Meghan Marshall had a hearing, or didn't have a hearing rather, before she sealed up the case.
Is inappropriate.
I agree.
She had no hearings on said matter. I don't know if they have to. I'm not a lawyer, but this is the second time I've seen something like that. Thanks, Meg. She's going to know more about the law before the age of 8 than I will ever understand. Probably. The emergency motion filed on April 5th, 2023 requested that this honorable court schedule a hearing so that defendant Allen can offer up his evidence in support of his request. No hearing was afforded to defendant Allen. On April 14th, the court issued an order for judgment of the court, essentially reinforcing the safekeeping order that was previously issued by Judge Diener. Bye, Cheryl T. Have a great day. Defendant Allen further believes that his Sixth Amendment right to counsel, This is all the same kind of argument that they don't have, good access to him. Request to prohibit public access. Just going to skate through some of these because some of these are not really shit. I mean, they say, we released 300 pages when half of them don't mean anything, really. Now comes the state of Indiana. We'll read through this. Let's see what else we've got. Okay. We'll read through this and then this supplemental, and then we will wrap up part 1. So we're going to read through 2 more motions. So state's response to defense's petition to let to bail. Now comes the state of Indiana. Prosecuting attorney Nicholas McClellan. The state of India. The state of Indiana would ask the court to not set bail or release the defendant on his own recognizance, and would ask the court to continue to hold the defendant without bond. 1. Charges were filed against the defendant Richard Allen on October 28, 2022, 2 counts of murder. Number 2, there was an initial hearing on October 28th that the state asked for the defendant to be held without bail. 3, the defendant filed a petition to let bail on November 21st, stating that the proof of guilt is not evidence, nor is the presumption of guilt strong that the defendant is guilty of murder. 4, that the defense is asking that the defendant be released on his own recognizance or that a reasonable bail be sent, that per Carroll County local rules, the defendant is pursued to be held without bond on the offense of murder, that the state believes there is competent evidence that the court can rely on, that the admissible evidence against the accused adds up to strong and evident proof of guilt, and that the state believes the evidence shows culpability of the actual crime of murder, and that the state believes the evidence shows a preponderance of the evidence that the defendant committed the crime of murder. And under IC 3533.82, the crime of murder is not bailable if the state proves by a preponderance of the evidence that the proof is evidence of the presumption strong, or the presumption strong that the defendant committed the offense. Supplemental motion for discovery and request for Rule 404 and 405 evidence. The defendant by counsel moves the state of Indiana to produce the following: the names and last known addresses of persons whom the state of Indiana intends to call witnesses, together with their, okay, this is interesting. We've got, you know what? We might have to slow down on this one. Okay? The names and last known addresses of persons whom the state of Indiana intends to call as witnesses, together with their written statements, recorded or taped statements, videotaped, memoranda containing substantially verbatim reports of their oral statements, etc., including but not limited to any person referred to as a, quote, confidential informant who offered up information that may lead to the discovery of relevant information in this cause. Confidential informant. Who's that? Is that Keegan Klein? Whatever happened to Keegan Klein? No offense, Mark Klein, but that's his last name. The names and last known addresses of persons known by the state of Indiana to have knowledge pertinent to this cause of action, but who the state of Indiana does not intend to call as witnesses. They want to know all the people that were also involved in this nastiness. Because I think there's a lot more to this case. I think there's a reason someone let Mr. Allen know maybe that those girls were out there. Any and all written or recorded statements and the substance of any oral statements made by the accused or any other person alleging statements made by the defendant. Any and all reports or statements of experts or other individuals who conducted any test, just the test, whether they plan to use the reports or not. A statement as to whether the defendant or any other person who participated in the alleged crime was acting directly or indirectly with the investigation or on behalf of the state of Indiana or one of its agents, and if so, state the names and addresses of said individuals. A statement as to any consideration and benefits incurred or offered the state of Indiana has given or intends to give to any witness in exchange for their testimony. Eagle 8's coming again for you, Mark Klein. Including but not limited to monies paid, a change of prison accommodation and or workstation, or any state action that could reasonably affect the witness's bias and disclosure of any and all state action, its agents' actions taken during the time the witness was cooperating. The names and last known addresses of persons not intended to be called as the state of Indiana's witnesses, but who have been questioned or interviewed by the state of Indiana, including memoranda reporting or summarizing their oral statements. Grand jury testimony of a witness once she has testified. A summary of any statement or conversation made by or engaged in by the defendant and overheard by persons known to the state of Indiana, and a list of any witnesses who overheard such statements. A statement as to whether any telephone calls were made by the defendant following his arrest, and whether the calls were taped or overheard. If the call was taped, produce the tape recording. If the call was taped, produce the tape recording. Or if the conversation was overheard, then produce a memorandum of the conversation. Names, addresses of all persons overhearing such conversation or conversations. 11. All phone records, books, papers, records, tapes, documents, photographs, videotapes, and other tangible objects and evidence which the state of Indiana may use in the prosecution of this matter, or which were obtained from or belonged to the defendant. 12. A record of arrests, criminal convictions, and juvenile records which may be used by any witness. A record of arrests, criminal convictions, and juvenile records. True copies of all written case reports and all other written reports, notes, memoranda, maps, drawings, or diagrams written, drawn, or otherwise prepared by the County Sheriff's Department, City Police, Indiana Police, and the FBI. A list of dates and times that the defendant appeared in any lineups or a photo array. A statement as to whether or not the defendant, any vehicle in which he had an interest, or his residence was searched following his arrest, with or without a search warrant. A statement in writing by prosecuting attorney that he has or has no information touching upon any matter of law or fact favorable to and or exculpatory of the defendant, or a written memorandum of such favorable or exculpatory information. Any and all evidence in the possession or control of the state of Indiana which may be favorable to the defendant. Any and all demonstrative exhibits prepared by the state its agents or experts, including but not limited to animations, charts, experiments, maps, reenactments. Any report by any cellular carrier whose records were obtained to determine the location of where the calls originated or were received by the ID. Where do you need it? For me? Thank you. Yep. Thank you. We got eaten alive by mosquitoes, and she just brought me a Band-Aid for my mosquito bite 'cause I itched it and it was bleeding. Thank you. So sweet. You did great. You gonna be a nurse? Yeah. Copies of all documents and audio-video recordings pertaining to any completed or ongoing litigation, any report by cellular carrier whose whose records were obtained to determine the location. Carroll County Sheriff's Department, Toby Leesenby, Tony Liggett, Michael Thomas, or any other law enforcement officer. Copies of any and all personnel files of Toby. See, this is the same thing, too. Like, remember, Brian Koberger's lawyers asking for all the training records for the Moscow Police Department. Oh, hold on. I've got to get touched up. Can you powder my nose? Thank you. My production team's the best. Hey, give them peace signs. Say, hey, what's up, guys? Say, I'm Jay's for Justice Production. Can you wave? Say hi.
Hi.
Copies of any and all documents and audio-video records pertaining to completed or ongoing litigation, a complete list of any individuals who assisted in any way with the investigation associated with the crimes alleged in this case, documentation, photos, videos, or audio recordings associated with any viewings facilitated by law enforcement authorities at or near the Monon Trail Freedom Bridge involving persons of interest, suspects, or witnesses associated with the criminal charges lodged against Richard Allen in this matter. Rule 404 of the Indiana Rules of Evidence, you are requested to state the general nature of any evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts of the defendant, or any anticipated defense witness which the state intends to offer for any purpose. You are also requested to supply the names and last known addresses of all witnesses that may be called to testify as to any evidence of other crimes, wrongs, or acts of the defendant. You are also requested to state the general nature of any evidence of other crimes. Blah, 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 blah. And we got through that. And then we're going to stop here on page 62 with the defendant's motion to continue bail hearing. So we will pick up on the bail hearing, and then we've got some kind of civil thing going on here. So we're going to pick this up in the next part. So we have part 2. I'm going to put that up for you guys to hit that notification. We'll probably do that tomorrow. So I know it's just a lot of like random stuff, but I don't know how else to present it other than to just go through it page by page. So there is a total, we're on page 63. There's a total of 284 pages. But tomorrow I'll be able to focus and we'll get through more because I'll have help here tomorrow. Oh boy. And look what we're going to end on. Kidding me? We got to go have lunch. It's lunchtime. We're going to have mac and cheese. You have a cupcake after mac and cheese. All right, guys. I want to thank all of you guys for, being patient. Thank you for being patient with me today. I appreciate it. I have a very, very good co-host. She's a very good girl. So I hope that you guys got something out of this. We're going to pick it up tomorrow. And in the meantime, I want you to dance it out. Thanks for joining, and all the new Patreon members, I want you guys sifting through those documents. I want you to tell me what you find in there. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'll see you tomorrow for a Saturday Live. Say bye, Sophia. Say bye. Say see you soon. Bye, guys. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. Damn, 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 damn. You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to friends, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time, I ain't got time, I ain't got time for that. Staying up late, sleeping all day, dreaming about Cadillacs. Buying new shoes, hanging by the pool, sipping on Coke and Jack. Calling my phone when you feel alone, but I'll never call you back. 'Cause I ain't got time, I ain't got time.
Roro causing Papa. I mean, that's
Roro.
not-
Who was
that's not-
Roro?